Why avoidance tests the patience of empaths? Have you ever wondered why someone who seems to care about you suddenly creates distance and emotional confusion? Why avoidance tests the patience of empaths is a question many people ask when they experience love mixed with uncertainty. The answer is often connected to deep emotional fears that influence how avoidants handle closeness and vulnerability. An empath usually experiences love through emotional connection, understanding, and honest communication. An avoidant, however, often protects themselves through independence, emotional distance, and personal space. This creates a powerful dynamic where one person moves closer while the other feels the need to step back. The empath searches for deeper connection, while the avoidant searches for emotional safety. Avoidants may appear cold or unaffected, but many are internally struggling with conflicting emotions. They may desire love deeply, while also fearing the responsibilities and risks that come with emotional intimacy. When an empath enters their life, something unusual happens because empaths naturally notice hidden emotions. They can sense changes in mood, silent frustration, and feelings that the avoidant tries to hide. This level of emotional awareness can feel comforting to the avoidant at first, but later, it can also feel uncomfortable because the empath sees beyond their emotional defenses. Many avoidants have learned that depending on others can lead to disappointment or emotional pain. Because of this, they often develop protective habits that create distance during moments of closeness. When an empath offers genuine love and emotional support, the avoidant may unconsciously begin testing that connection. They are not always trying to create problems, but they are trying to understand whether the relationship feels safe. One common way avoidants test empaths is by creating emotional distance and observing their reaction. They may become quieter, respond less frequently, or suddenly need more personal space. For an empath, these changes can feel confusing because they naturally search for emotional explanations. They may wonder if they made a mistake, or if the avoidant is slowly losing feelings. They may analyze every conversation, every message, and every small change in behavior. However, many times the avoidant is not pulling away because they stopped caring. Instead, they may be dealing with internal fears they have difficulty expressing. Deep down, they may be asking themselves important questions about emotional safety. They may wonder, will this person leave me if they see my weaknesses? They may also fear, will I lose my independence if I become too emotionally connected? These fears can create behaviors that unintentionally test the patience of an empath. Empaths often struggle because they naturally want to understand, support, and heal the people they love. They are usually willing to give more chances because they see the pain behind someone's behavior. They believe that enough patience, kindness, and reassurance can help the avoidant finally open up. But emotional healing is something a person must choose for themselves. No amount of love can force someone to face fears they are not ready to confront. An empath can create a safe environment, but they cannot complete another person's emotional growth. Avoidants often test patience because they want to know whether love will survive uncomfortable moments. They may create distance to see if the empath respects their boundaries or reacts with emotional pressure. A calm response can slowly teach an avoidant that closeness does not always mean losing freedom. It can show them that emotional connection can exist without control or overwhelming demands. However, constantly chasing an avoidant during every withdrawal can create an unhealthy cycle. The avoidant pulls away, the empath pursues, and both people become trapped in emotional exhaustion. The empath feels unwanted, while the avoidant feels pressured and misunderstood. Over time, this pattern can create frustration, resentment, and emotional burnout. One of the most important lessons for empaths is understanding that patience has limits. Being patient does not mean accepting endless confusion, neglect, or emotional uncertainty. A healthy relationship requires both people to participate in emotional growth. The empath must understand that their role is not to rescue or fix the avoidant. They cannot heal another person's wounds by sacrificing their own emotional peace. Sometimes the strongest thing an empath can do is step back and allow space. When an empath stops chasing and focuses on self-respect, the entire relationship dynamic can change. The avoidant may begin noticing that emotional connection requires effort from both sides. They may realize that a meaningful relationship cannot survive through distance alone. This realization can encourage them to reflect on their own fears and behaviors. However, stepping back should never be about manipulation or trying to make someone chase you. It should come from a place of emotional balance, confidence, and self-worth. Avoidants often test patience because deep intimacy brings emotions they have avoided for years. The presence of an empath can become a mirror reflecting feelings the avoidant tries to ignore. This reflection may feel uncomfortable, but it can also create opportunities for growth. Sometimes the person who challenges our defenses becomes the person who helps us understand ourselves. The healthiest relationships between avoidants and empaths happen when both people grow together. The empath learns to love without losing themselves in another person's emotions. The avoidant learns that vulnerability does not always lead to rejection or pain. True connection happens when both partners choose understanding over fear. It develops when communication becomes stronger than emotional avoidance. So if you are an empath dealing with an avoidant person, remember this important truth. Their testing behavior often reveals their internal struggles more than it reflects your value. Their distance may come from fear, but your responsibility is still to protect your emotional well-being. Your patience is a beautiful quality, but your self-respect must always come first. Love should create security, not constant confusion and emotional exhaustion. The goal is not to chase someone into becoming emotionally available. The goal is to create a relationship where both people willingly move toward each other. When an avoidant learns that love can exist without pressure, something begins to change. When an empath learns that love can exist without self-sacrifice, something becomes healthier. The connection between them becomes stronger when both people choose emotional responsibility. Because real love is not about one person constantly proving their loyalty. Real love is about two people choosing each other with honesty, awareness, and emotional courage. If this video helped you understand why avoidants test the patience of empaths, remember that awareness is the first step toward creating healthier relationships. Love is not about endlessly proving your worth or chasing someone who is afraid of emotional closeness. True connection happens when both people are willing to communicate, grow, and meet each other with honesty and respect. If you have experienced this dynamic in your own relationship, share your thoughts in the comments because your story may help someone else feel understood. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos about attachment styles, relationship psychology, and emotional healing. Thank you for watching, and remember that understanding others begins with understanding yourself.